Good old curry. It's a dish that can be prepared hundreds of different ways. Enthusiasts will insist it has to be low and slow, and granted, it is better that way. Not all of us exactly have the time to spend all day doing it. So, we have what we like to call a curry in a hurry. And this dish that you sent me, I would classify as a curry in a hurry. So, I'm going to be making in this video, but I'm going to be doing some differences. I'm going to change things a little bit, not an overhaul. I just want to see what I can do to tweak it a bit. So, will I make it better, or will I completely ruin this dish and make it worse? There's only one way to find out, and that is to get to cooking. My rice of choice is going to be good old basmati. It's perfect for curry, and it is also the queen of fragrance. Seriously, folks, I'm not making that up. I did not edit that in. They put that on the Kirkland signature basmati rice. I'm going to be going with 2 cups of rice because usually you're looking at about half a cup of rice per serving, and 2 cups of rice should do 4 servings, which to me sounds right. And because I want my rice to be nice and fluffy in the end and not sticky, I'm going to go ahead and give it a rinse to get all that loose starch off. Basically, you're just going to want to do this until the water is relatively clear, probably about 4 to 5 rinses. You're never going to get it 100% clear in the water, so don't even bother trying. Now I'm going to get to chopping my garlic and my onion, which is the backbone flavor for so many dishes. Curry is no exception to that. You can leave your garlic a little bit chunky like this just by giving it a chop, or what a lot of people like to do is to just get some salt in there, because we're going to be using salt in our dish anyway, and then using the side of your knife, it'll help to crush the garlic even more. There. That seems about good to me. So for your curry, I'm going to be including ginger root, and the reason for that is not only does it pair so well with onion and garlic, but also the spices that we're going to be adding in later, ginger will add such a good balance and warmth to it. So mine's frozen. I got to take a spoon and peel away the skin. You can use a vegetable peeler, but I find it takes too much of the flesh away. There's something about a spoon that does such a good job at getting the skin and maintaining all of that ginger flesh. And to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to be using a microplane to turn it into a pulp instead of using my knife. To start the rice, I'm going to go on with a pot with medium heat, and as the recipe says, go in with some oil. I've got half of my onion ready to go in, and that right there is the sound of magic. I've only got the onions in right now, not the garlic, not the ginger. The reason for that is because garlic will burn very easily, and onion can take a hell of a lot of abuse. Now, yes, rice into a frying pan. You don't have to do this, but I like to do it because it'll help give the rice a nice toasted flavor. Okay, once we're almost there with the rice, I'm going to go in with half the garlic, just because fried garlic is so aromatic. We don't want this part to take too long because the garlic can and will burn easily. We just want it to start to get that smell of roasted garlic. And funny enough, I was going a little bit too crazy. I've been mixing my rice so much, I'm actually snapping my rice granules in half. So, lesson learned. Maybe I should have been a little bit more gentle, but I just can't help getting too excited with this. Yeah, there's that smell. Okay, that's perfect. I'm just going to turn the heat down, move it back so I don't scorch it for the camera. And normally when we cook rice, we go with water, but I have my very own home canned turkey chicken rib broth. You can use water, but I tell ya, there's so much more flavor happening when you go with stock. Now, normally I don't cook. This is a confession I gotta make. I'm terrible at cooking rice on the stove. I'm really bad at it because I use my Instant Pot for rice. So I normally use that for rice, but because you use stovetop in your recipe, I'm going ahead and going with that. So let's see if I can do this trick here. So take the stock here. Yes, this is going to be violent. So I think the general rule is you want to put enough liquid that when you put your finger in, you want it to go to the first knuckle of your thingy. So go like this. Oh yeah, I'm right there. To give it that nice, genuine color, I'm going to add in some plain old turmeric. Turmeric is very healthy, very good for you. Toss that in, give it a quick mix. When it does come to a boil, make sure I got the right lid. Fantastic. Now, onto the sauce. Now, I would say for 4 portions, 2 breasts is good because that would mean that there's about half a breast per portion, which seems about right. But if you're hungry, you can always throw in an extra. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this into cubes. I'm going to be cutting it into pieces that are a little bit larger than I want because as it cooks, the chicken's actually going to shrink. So a little bit bigger for now. So with my hands and my knife washed between takes, I'm going to go ahead and move the chicken out of the way for now. Bring in the flour. But we want to make this flour taste good first. So we're going to go in with our blend of spices. Of course, salt. Some paprika. We want some garlic pepper. Garlic powder, I mean, not pepper. And just because I happen to have it on hand anyway, why not go in with a little bit of sumac? Just because I can. Go ahead and give this flour a nice, healthy, generous mix. But I'm just going to cover up my chicken in this lovely flavored flour and place it on this rack. So that way, as the liquid from the chicken hydrates the flour, it's not going to stick to the cutting board and become all tacky. Okay, that's the last bit of the chicken. And between takes, I'm going to clean up my contaminated hand in this whole contaminated zone to make sure that this area is still safe to work with. So I got right here a stick of cinnamon, but I don't need all of that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of it and just toss that in there. Toasting your spices is really a way to wake them up. And again, cinnamon is going to pair really well with the ginger because those are 2 very warming, very comforting spices. And very common in curry as well is cumin seeds. Not going too crazy here. This is going to flavor the oil. And this is so unbelievably fast. So fast, we don't want it to go for long at all. Oh, that smells nice. Next, the second half of our onion. I removed the pieces of cinnamon because the oils have already gone in and we don't want to have those hard pieces of cinnamon in our finished dish. All the rest of the garlic and all of that ginger that was pureed earlier, that's going in. And that's going to come fragrant. And that's going to go very quick. The water from that tomato is going to come out and cool down the onions and cool down the ginger and cool down the garlic. The tomatoes are hard right now. And as it cooks, it's going to soften. Oops, had one run away on me there. I can be a little bit messy when I get enthusiastic about this. Okay, this is nicely mingled together, so because I am on a small element, what I can do is I can pull this forward so that the heat is really right here, And then I'm gonna scrape my tomatoes and my aromatics and everything. I'm gonna push them to the side where there's very little heat. The reason I'm doing this is because what I want to do is I want to introduce these flavors to my chicken here. Not only is that seasoned flour going to be delicious, but the flour on the chicken is also going to be a thickener for our sauce. Alright, I gave it a good amount of time, and this isn't too necessary, but if you want, you can go ahead and start flipping the chicken, because we got a good browning on one side of the chicken. So just flip it over. Let the other side get a little bit of love. Maybe use tongs instead of me using my fingies and risking getting burned. Okay, things are coming along. It's getting pretty toasty up in that pan, so now I would say it's time to deglaze. And look, see how those tomato pieces are just like very easily mushing apart? Very nice. All you gotta do is just let them break down. I'm gonna go in with the rest of my stock here, because I want to turn this into a curry sauce. And the reason why I want to use this, wow, it's so much more quiet now that the sizzling stopped. Oh, that chicken looks unbelievable. Very good. Okay. So yeah, the reason is because we've developed such deep, toasty flavors in that pan. And by putting the liquid in here, I can take my spoon and I can scrape the bottom, and all of that flavor that's in the pan is coming off into our sauce. It's a very beautiful thing. So next up, any more aromatics? The answer is yes. I've got 2 of them. This is garam masala, which is a blend of a lot of spices that go really well in curry. So I just go in there and sprinkle that garam masala in. So good, so nice. And next up, just that curry powder, that very basic, I don't even know what's in it other than turmeric curry powder. I'm just gonna go in with that. This is the stuff that I usually don't use this. Normally I don't, but you've inspired me to, so I'm gonna see how it turns out. We're doing it your way and my way, and making a very, very brown curry, actually. It's very much more brown. Now you might be wondering, how do we tell when the chicken is done? How do we know? The answer is with my handy dandy thermopen. I'm gonna go in here, and we want the chicken on the inside. Let me tilt my camera up here so you can see a bit better. We need the chicken to be 165 in the middle. And we are at 155. So honestly, we're very close. So some butter is going to make it nice and velvety. And then the cream is going to make it creamy. Go just a little bit at a time, because we can always add more, but we cannot take away. Oh, it smells so good though. Oh, I can't get over it. Yum. Checking in on our chicken. We're there. We're there. That's good. That's great. Our chicken is good. So I'm going to use a spoon to just get some of that sauce. Blow on it. And then see how it tastes. Oh, it's so good. Oh my goodness. And for one final touch, I have cilantro here. I'm just going to take a couple of the leaves to reserve for garnish. And the rest, we can go ahead and just chop it. We want this at the very end because these leaves are very delicate. And you don't want to put this in early, because if you put it in too early, it's going to get very dark and wilty. But by adding it at the very end, it's going to just blanch it, and you mix it, and you have nice, vibrant, bright green. It is done. In with the rice. The failed disaster rice. Oh well. it'll still be tasty. Curry in a hurry. Oops, I really tumbled that piece over. I didn't mean to have that fall out like that. Oh my gosh. Those cilantro leaves. Just drop that on. And that right there is a fine looking curry, if I do so say myself.